Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another SHOUTCraft Clan War right here on MLG TV. My name is TotalBiscuit, and I shall be your master of ceremonies, commentator, producer, observer. Thankfully, won't be admin today. That's nice. I've got Stephen Vaqueth helping me out today, so thanks an awful lot for that. It takes a lot off my mind. And we have IvD Gaming versus myInsanity today for your entertainment. This will be a best of 7 Pro League format Clan War. And here's the full lineup for you. So we already know what maps and what players are going to be put out there. We, of course, do not know what's going to happen in the Ace match, assuming that it gets there. But this is going to be an interesting one, because I think under normal circumstances, everybody would say that myInsanity is the clear favorite going into this. But there's a couple of factors that I feel mean that maybe just isn't quite the case. So the first one being that this is a Pro League format, meaning these guys have 2 weeks to prepare individual maps. So there's a lot of time to prepare and make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, create a unique build that you know is going to work, and properly practice it. So, just like Pro League, we often see players that you wouldn't consider to be super strong in a normal format put out there as snipers, as people that are very good at that particular map and doing work. The second factor is that we don't actually see the full strength of myInsanity being deployed today. In particular, they are lacking Jade. They have no Terran on their lineup today. Why? Well, the reason is that myInsanity's Jade just finished the Seat Story Cup, so he is currently flying back and doesn't have time to play. It's really as simple as that. So the strongest player they've got out here today would be Stardust, I think, but he is put into a PvP with a very good PvP player by the name of Puck. And then, aside from that, they are actually deploying a couple of myInsanity Academy members for this particular lineup. So we've got the A-team really from IvD. I think the only person that is missing from the IvD roster that I would have expected to be deployed today would probably be Gamja, the Korean Zerg. But outside of that, they've got Apocalypse, they've got Puck, they've got Arium, Fog, and Ruff, who, as well as Zerg Zing, who is going to be playing in the 2v2. So they have the strongest lineup I think that they could possibly field here. I think they will be able to do a pretty good job. I don't see why not. So the first matchup today is going to be a Zerg vs. Zerg. It is going to be on New Pompei, which is a fairly interesting venue to say the least for this matchup. And it's going to be between Seral and Fog. Now, Seral made his debut quite recently for myInsanity against Clan Who, and he did a really good job. He played a very good ZVZ. Fog, historically, ZVZ is his weakest matchup, but recently he's been doing okay at it. He's not too shabby. He was playing the Breakout Invitational where he 2-0'd Baldwin. He also took a map from Hydra in IEM, very recently actually, in February. That was quite surprising to a lot of people. And then we saw him beat Edge in the Demos Team Esports League, so he's playing for IvD there too. And he also beat Zerg Zing as well as Sasquatch in the IEM Cologne qualifiers. So his Zerg vs. Zerg has been a lot stronger lately. Is he good enough to beat Seral? That's a different matter entirely. Possibly, but it's a tough call. Seral is really, really good, and his display versus Fenner in the recent Clan War was very strong. So let's see if he is good enough. We'll find out. New Pompei is loading in, folks. That will be our first map. It is a very interesting map for Zerg vs. Zerg, and you're going to certainly see why as we go in. Hopefully you will enjoy it very much. You're watching SHOUTCraft Clan Wars, you can see, sponsored by MLG TV. That's why we're here on MLG TV. They're paying for the whole thing. $60,000 prize money over the next year. That is a ridiculous amount of money that MLG is throwing at this event, so big thanks to them for that. All right, we're ready to kick it off, so let's make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Pompei. It's my pleasure to bring you from Team myInsanity in the green trunks. Playing Zerg to the northeast, it is Seral versus his opponent to the south position. In the pink trunks, also playing Zerg, IvD Gaming's Fog. Alright, so this map is a little weird for Zerg vs. Zerg, and that is because there are 2 entrances to the main, and there's this very strange circular route on this map. So, usually, if you've never seen StarCraft before, a lot of the maps that you see in StarCraft will have a ramp. And that's an example of that. And the ramp will go down to the next base, which is usually called the natural expansion. And that is where you will naturally expand. That's where you'll build your second base. Here's the thing, though. This map doesn't. This is New Pompei. It's a little bit weird. It is a 5-starter spawn map, and it has 2 ramps, one on either side. And it has 2 potential naturals that you could take, one or the other. That also means that there are 2 potential attack routes, one of which is always going to be longer than the other. So in the case of Seral, if you wanted to attack Fog, he would go down his ramp here, and he would have a run all the way around the map, all the way over here, and he would attack from this direction. However, if he wanted to catch Fog by surprise, then he may decide to go the other route, which is a little longer and goes all the way around here. Now, if you want access to the middle, you can do that, but you would need either drop potential or to knock down these rocks. And once you open up those paths, there are all manner of places you can go. Okay, now Seral is going gas, and he is then going pool. And it looks like Fog is actually going to expand, and he kind of gets a bit lucky here, to some degree. He's expanding away from his opponent. Now, Fog actually has no idea where his opponent is. All he knows is that his opponent is not in close proximity. So he's kind of gambling, and it's quite surprising to see a Zerg go hatchery first on this map, because if you expand towards your opponent, it can be quite difficult to handle. Fog, though, did expand away, so he rolled the dice and he got lucky there, so he should be fine. Now, the question is Seral going to expand off this position? Because he took gas really early. He's going to have ridiculously fast speed, and in fact, he should build speed at any moment now, I would think. There we go. So, he's going for a really early speed build. I like that on this map because of the rush distance. It takes a while to get around, but if you have lings, you can attack from both sides, and they are pretty much the fastest unit in the game for doing that with. So, I like that a lot. I think that's a pretty solid way of going. And we've also got a Baneling Nest coming very early on here from Seral, so he wants to apply a lot of pressure really, really quickly. The Lings are already on the way, but good Overlord position here from Fog. He's going to see that. The thing is that Fog expanded, and he was kind of late with his spawning pool and with his gas, so Fog hasn't actually started speed yet, and speed is over halfway, well, it's about halfway done for Seral. So Seral is looking to do a lot of early damage here with Banelings. That said, the Baneling Nest is not too far behind for Fog, so it's entirely possible that Fog will be able to hold this. If he can, bear in mind, Seral is attacking. Like, he's getting aggressive. He is not going to expand. If he has to expand, he is in a really bad position. Fog is already ahead economically. Fog already has more access to more lava because he has 2 hatcheries. So the only thing that Fog is kind of behind in that respect is queen production. So Seral is able to get more lava for a little while, but if there's enough queens, then Fog should be fine. However, speed is about to kick in. So a good start here for Fog. Actually, a really nice start to cancel a couple of Banelings out and push Seral's army back. But speed is still over a minute away, so Seral has an edge here. Fog needs Banelings immediately, and he's not building them. He's going to rely on a Spine Crawler. He's going to rely on his Queens. There we go. Banes are now coming in. Additional Lings having been added on. And nice target fire by Fog, actually. Very, very nice. And puts a Ling there, and that's actually a bit of miscontrol there from Seral, I feel. Oh, lovely attack from the side, though. Absolutely fantastic flank, and that's done a lot of economic damage here, and now they're going to run right into the natural. This is really terrible for Fog, actually. Oh, man. Speed is about to kick in. Fog could recover from this position. He does still have 2 hatcheries, but the next wave of Lings is on its way, and Seral's control so far has been fantastic. Picks off yet another drone. If you have a look over here, there's a bunch more Banelings ready. There are only 2 Banelings for Fog, so Fog is going to have to get a really great defense here, or he is probably dead, honestly. So let's see how good Fog's defense really is. Queen's now moving in. Again, good target fire. Excellent target fire. Oh, wow. Nicely done there by Fog. Takes out all 4 Banelings and moves in a couple of his own. Saves his own Queen as well. Oh, man, this is really tense here for Fog. He must survive this push in order to get back into this game. He's way too far behind otherwise. Again, great target fire. The Queen is going to go down. Fantastic trade here for Fog, but I don't know if he's got the Lings. He only has a single Zergling left. And Seral is still going for it. And I think, unfortunately, that is going to be it. I don't know. It depends. Can Fog get the detonation? No. Seral is not going to allow that to happen. He's going to go through to the natural here. Take a couple more drones out. Technically, Fog still, of course, has a hatchery lead, but he's down to, what, 6 drones now? So this is unlikely to work out here for Fog, I think. Seral is still piling the pressure on here. Ooh, it's not good. 5 drones to 14, even if you have 2 hatcheries. Not an ideal position to be in. Oh, nice attempt there by Seral to take that Baneling out, but he doesn't quite get it. And Fog is trying to hold on at this point. He knows he has 2 hatcheries. He knows his opponent doesn't. But again, he's not getting the trades he needs with these Banelings, and Seral's control is pretty good. A couple more Banes will morph on the ramp here. Oh no, there's only 1 drone left now. That run-by takes it out, and that's going to be the quick GG here for myInsanity. Strong start by Seral. I don't think really an unexpected result for most people. Seral's really, really good in Zerg vs. Zerg. Fog maybe not so much, so a quick early point on the board right there for myInsanity. But IvD is not out yet. This is certainly a best of 7, so there's plenty of time. We can hopefully see a recovery from them. The next match, I think, might end up being a little more even. It's going to be a Zerg vs. Protoss on New Polaris Rhapsody. And it's going to be Zervas versus Arium, who is a great North American Protoss. We're going to be seeing that after the break, folks. You're watching SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. Currently one in the lead here for myInsanity, who are looking for their second pickup in the Clan Wars. They would be the first team to manage that if they pull it off today. Let's see if they can. We'll be right back after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. We must apologize for the ads that apparently ran in the middle of the game. That was clearly a bug on MLG's end. They are looking to try and find out why the hell it happened. It certainly wasn't supposed to. We apologize for that. However, we are going to Game 2 right here in the series between myInsanity and IvD Gaming. It's going to be on a new Polaris Rhapsody, which will be a Zerg versus Protoss between Zervas and Arium. Looking forward to this one. Let's see how this one works out for them. Hopefully IvD can put one on the board. That was an unfortunate loss for them early on, although I've got to say not... What the hell is that? Oh, great. Lawnmowers. Okay, fantastic. That's just lovely. All right. Really? Really? Fuck you, lawnmowers. Okay. Let's get right into the game, shall we? Between these two wonderful players. Spawning to the southeast position here on New Polaris Rhapsody in the purple trunks, playing Protoss. It is IvD Arium versus his opponent, who decided to make things a little awkward by going for the pink, because that's not remotely similar to the purple. In the northwest position, playing for myInsanity. Are you kidding me? In the pink trunks, playing Zerg, it is Zervas. It's either that or someone is attempting to chainsaw my house. I'm gonna have to go check that. Oh, thanks. Green Paths Lawn Management, or whatever the balls you're calling it. Jeez. Alright, well, you just have to deal with it. Hopefully you can't hear it, but I certainly bloody well can. Well, that's a Forge first, Arium. Okay. Forge first right at the front here on 13 supply. But there's no probe out on the map, so that indicates he is not going for cannons. Otherwise, he would already be making his way across the map. So this is going to be a very defensive Forge. It's going to be a Forge Fast Expansion, which is a very old build. But pretty good for this map. Very, very good for protecting this area here in particular. And the Zerg player is actually going to go for a pull before his expansion. Oh, never mind. He did have a probe out on the map. Arium is actually attempting a cannon wall-off here. And he has succeeded in walling off the area entirely. Man, I missed that. I assume it was because everything looks the bloody same here. So, cannon rush out of Arium. And a cannon going behind that. A single drone got out. I don't know if this is going to be enough. What if he's got to stop another pylon from going down in this area right here, and he's failed to do that. So I have a feeling that Zervas is now in quite a bit of trouble. This doesn't end the game, but it does delay the expansion significantly. So this pylon will die, this cannon won't. What Zervas needed to do was take his drone and put it on hold position here to prevent this other pylon from going down. But it's too late now, and that drone's going to die. Okay, so there is no drone out on the map whatsoever, and Arium has full map control at this point. There is only a single cannon. Arium hasn't actually committed too much to this. So that's not too bad. And he's looking pretty good right now, but we're going to have to, of course, see Zervas get through here and clear this out very quickly. This is the weakest part of it with the pylon. But even then, the shields are starting to regenerate quite rapidly. So we're going to have to see Zervas knock down that pylon, get around and kill the cannon. And Arium is kind of waiting for something to attack. And then he's probably going to attempt to continue the wall off. These lings are getting ready to rock and roll. In the meantime, behind this, Arium is expanding. So this is a really good start for him. Really good start. Thankfully, the cannon's kind of in the wrong place, meaning that the Queen is able to fire over this area here and strike this pylon. Gateway's going down for a wall-off here, though. Arium is going to try and keep his opponent in. And does he have enough links to break this? I guess we're about to find out. He is going to go for it. I think he needs to be attacking the other pylons as well, because it's a little bit of a waste here from these lings. They should be attacking everything they possibly could. He's going to try and make his way through, but this cannon is really well protected. The Queen goes down as well, which is really not good for Zervas. He's going to have to bring in another one here. This cannon is doing work. It's killed 8, 9, 10 units. It is going to die, but Arium isn't letting Zervas out. There's the cancellation, and finally that's broken, but that leaves the Zerg player to count the cost of that. And it has allowed Arium to get a fully functional expansion up already. Strong. Pretty strong. Not a bad little start here. That's all. Arium is going to lose a bunch of stuff, and we're going to have a look and see exactly how much was lost from either side. Okay, so here's the units lost panel. 1 queen, 1 drone, 9 lings, okay? What was also lost is the fact that Zervas couldn't expand, and he also had to produce lings when he didn't want to. He wanted to make drones. So that was particularly damaging. The units lost, unfortunately, doesn't show structures. Arium lost, what? 3, 4 pylons, I would say, and a cannon. I think that was a worthwhile investment. I mean, he was able to get his Nexus up behind it. So this works really well. That said, it does mean that Zervas now has full map control. Arium was really dedicated to that, and he's on 2 bases, which is great, and he's going to go for Stargate, but he's behind in tech, and he has no map control at all, and he has no units. So I don't really know why Zervas is going into the base. He's just going to die here, but he does at least get a scout. He sees the Stargate, so that's not too bad. So we do see that Zervas is keeping an eye out. Really needs to make sure that no cannons are coming down. And as it stands, nothing whatsoever. There isn't really anything on the map for Arium outside of this 1 probe and this pylon over to the side here, so there's no threat of cannons really at this point, unless Arium wants to do something crazy, which is unlikely. So there's really nothing he can do at this point. He's going to go out on the map again with another probe. Oracle on the way here for Arium, and a Roach Warren and a Lair coming out for Zervas, which is an interesting start. Lair's not going to help him too much here. No Spore Crawlers as of yet. You know, it's a bit weird to scout a Stargate and then go Roach Warren. That's a little strange. Against Phoenixes, maybe? But anything else, you're going to need something that shoots up. And there are only 3 queens on the map, no spores, and the first Oracle is out. And it's not going to be Oh, did that Ling see it? No, don't think so. No reaction coming out. More drones being built here from Zervas, so doesn't look like it. We're going to see a Void Ray follow-up here as well. It is not... Oh, there you go. It finally gets seen, but the Spore's coming up a little bit too late here. And we're going to see some drones die. No question about that. There we go. Those several drones popped. You'll note, of course, that there is now a worker lead for the Protoss. I mean, not only because that Oracle just got 10 drones, which is fantastic, and actually got out alive. So that was a really, really nice Oracle hit there. But the Protoss had been on 2 bases for longer and had more Chrono Boost saved up. So he was in a good spot thanks to that cannon contain there. Less of a cannon rush, more of a cannon contain, but Arium with a really severe supply block here, actually. Quite surprising. You generally don't see a 15+ second supply block from a Protoss player at this level, but that does not help too much. Alright, we've got lava coming up. The Ling is not going to die. In fact, nothing is going to die from the lava here, by the looks of it. Everything has moved off and is now moving to high ground. And Arium's follow-up is going to be 7 gate plus Void Ray. Hit him with everything he can. Now he's got about 5 minutes to really go for it. And Arium moving in again with his Oracle. It's pretty heavily damaged, but oh, it catches the drone transfer. Lovely moves here from Arium. That's 14 kills now on that Oracle. And it gets out. Absolutely gorgeous. Zervas is going to get a scout, but that's not going to help him. He's had his economy pretty much ravaged. 15 workers killed. 2 Void Rays being added in, and then 7 gate pressure. And Zervas is going to go for Roach Infester, which could work if he has enough roaches, but he doesn't. Arium's on 7 sentries, 1 zealot, 2 Void Rays, and there are barely any military units. Zervas is over-droned, I feel, here, because he's been trying to replenish his losses from that harass, and now just doesn't have enough units to fight. In fact, Zervas is... yeah, he was just supply blocked for a little while as well, so we're seeing Hydralisks come out from Zervas, but I feel it might be a little bit late. I think he's gonna have to lose his 3rd. Like, if he tries to hold his 3rd here, then I think he's a little silly. I don't think that's a good idea. Like, sack the 3rd at this point, get more units, get more roaches and hydras out. Don't fight here, though. And this is suicidal. The army supply count looks fairly even, but the quality of units here for the Protoss is way better. Roaches versus Void Rays only generally goes one way. He doesn't quite have enough Hydras out yet. There's a lot of sentries as well, but here we go. The engagement coming in. Zervas coming in from the side right here and trying to bring out these Hydralisks. Brings down the Oracle, but takes severe damage in the process. A lot of Stalkers now pushing back here. There is nothing close to enough here for the Zerg player to defend this third. I'm really surprised he tried. And as a direct result, he's taking a lot of punishment here. So far, Arium has lost barely anything. He's taking a bit of damage on these 2 Void Rays, but most of the Hydras are dead as well. More Hydras being built. The third base is absolutely going to die here. Zervas goes in for the defense, but this is suicide as far as I'm concerned. Arium is going to be able to destroy this army very, very easily. Supply count plummets here for the Zerg, and looking to tie it up one apiece here for IvD as Arium with the good cheeky opener. Very well prepared for this map. Bear in mind, some of these maps may have exploitable elements. That's what you've got to prepare. That's why it's a Team League format. This is not a ladder map. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And IvD puts one on the board. That's what we like to see. Very, very nice there from IvD. Arium with a great build. Absolutely worked well. Great follow-up. Zervas could have probably held it, but I would have liked to see Spore Crawlers up a little bit earlier upon scouting that Stargate. And against that, sack the third. Like, the Protoss is kind of all in from that point. He's not expanding. He's dedicated to one particular attack and tech path. He's just throwing units at you. Sack your third, build up your units on the natural, and try and hold there. It wasn't going to happen on the third base, though. Absolutely not. Really nicely played there by Arium, and he ties it up. All right, we have a clan war on our hands, folks. That's what I like to see. Very, very cool. So, next match is going to be a Starbow map. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you are ready for that. I am looking forward to Starbow very much. We're going to see Jade take on Ruff. So that is going to, I believe, be a Protoss versus Terran in Starbow. So that's going to be great. We'll find out what happens after this break, folks. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our SHOUTCraft Clan War here. It's currently one apiece between IvD and myInsanity. We're going to be going on to the next map. Going to be this one right here. Jade versus Ruff in a Protoss versus Terran on Starbow. Okay, so, for some reason, Ruff could either be trolling the hell out of me or could be genuinely serious, in which case he needs to have strong words with his manager for not telling him what Starbow was because he's claiming to have never played Starbow before. If that is the case, I expect Jade to absolutely destroy him. Completely. Let's find out. It could, there's been a bit of debate in the lobby right here as to whether or not this is in fact the sickest mind game. I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? Oh me, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Ruff might be in for a very, very rough time. This is the quality of entertainment you get here in SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. I'm sorry, you should have known before you even got started here. Yeah, Ruff is going to get absolutely wrecked unless he is trolling the hell out of everybody here. I certainly hope for his sake he is, because otherwise he's going to learn what a Dragoon is, and it's not going to be fun for him. For those of you who don't know, Starbow is a Brood War StarCraft 2 hybrid mod. And it is kind of great, but if you don't prepare for it, you're absolutely, completely, and totally boned. Huh. Interesting start. Ruff goes for the immediate scout on 7 supply, which is not what you usually see here. So let's introduce our 2 players who, irritatingly enough, have both decided to wear barcodes today. Thankfully, they have clan tags. In the red trunks, playing Terran, to the north here of Starbow Python, it is Ruff. Versus his opponent to the east position. In the pink trunks, playing Protoss, myInsanity's Jade. Now, let's try again. MYE Jade is part of the MYE Academy, so probably not a player that you've seen a huge amount of. Ruff is perhaps a little bit more well-known. Ruff is trying to find his opponent, and has failed completely to do so thus far. I am really looking forward to seeing what Ruff pulls out here, because I have a feeling it's going to be dreadful, but who knows. We had this before, actually. Startail Legend, unfortunately, did not practice enough in Starbow and got absolutely destroyed by Crank. So, it's not really what you want to do. If you've got a Starbow match scheduled, then you should really practice Starbow. Oh my. Bearing in mind, I might add, that both the teams actually agreed to play Starbow. We don't put a Starbow map on the roster unless we know that the players have Starbow players. Yeah, so... Otherwise, it's just a waste of time for everyone concerned. Alright, Barracks first into gas here. Pretty standard opening coming out from Ruff. But I hope for his sake he knows what's going on, because the Cybercore follow-up's coming out immediately here from Jade. Which indicates to me he's going to go straight into Dragoons. And if we do not see either an immediate tech up to tanks or the addition of Marauders into the arsenal of Ruff, he's probably dead. Second rack's coming up, which is actually hidden over the side right there. Is he going to elevate? Oh, that would be cool. Because bear in mind, this map is actually really interesting. You can't enter this section here. It looks like you can, but you can't. But you could float a barracks into the base of your opponent. It'd be pretty cool. Alright, let's see if we get a Dragoon coming out here. Another gateway's being added on, so 2 gateway, 1 base Dragoon would probably work pretty well. Bunker coming up as well for Ruff, which is certainly required in order to defend. I'm really interested to see what Ruff actually does here if he realizes that mules aren't in, and there's the first Dragoon coming out. We are seeing a tech lab, though. It's possible that Ruff might have been trolling. It is entirely feasible that he may understand this, and he might be going straight for Marauder, which is kind of weird because you would think Marauder couldn't really handle Dragoons, and they kind of can't unless they get the range upgrade. But he's going for an immediate stim, so it is entirely feasible that this might work. Stim pack is 124-second research time. There's the factory. What is he doing? Like, I don't... He is going for the float. He is going for the float. This is actually really sneaky here. Double Dragooners coming out here from Jade. I still don't think he's actually played it because he's currently not using his orbital command energy to do things like overcharge, which would be very, very useful here, but... Oh, no, he called down an SCV. Okay, so maybe he has played it. It's entirely possible. But we will see. He's gonna go with the standard in-base proxy Firebat. Alright then. Well, I've never seen that before. This is gonna be fun. So, we do have Dragoons on the way, though, which is a bit concerning. There is Stim on the way as well, but there's only 2 Marines in that bunker, so we will have to see SCVs repair. But this in-base proxy Firebat could be very effective. Stargate transition coming out here from Jade. And he's going to go in with the attack as Singularity Charge finishes, which will allow him to outrange this bunker. So what we're going to have to see is repairs from Ruff, otherwise he's not going to hold. But here's the thing. There's an in-base proxy Firebat, which still has gone unscouted here from Jade. Oh, well, you see, there's a slight problem here. Oh, he's going to lose Stim! No, not Stim! Looks for the surround. Has got to surround those Dragoons. He gets one. He gets one. Can he get the rest? He lost his Stim a couple of seconds before it finished. That is horrible. Come on, in-base proxy Firebats. You've got to do your job here. He's going for it. In-base proxy Firebats are on the way. Jade is not responding to the proxy Firebats. Oh, the damage. Absolute brutality coming out here from Jade. And there's only 1 Dragoon left in the base. He's going to get it. Ruff is going to hold after losing his Stim. In-base proxy Firebat has like 1 billion kills. Ruff is in the lead. How the hell did he pull that off? That's beautiful. Well, the problem is he's going to have to deal with the counterattack. There are a lot of very, very angry Dragoons coming in his general direction. There's another Firebat coming in. Ruff does not understand Starbow. Well, if you'd practiced it, then that might have helped. Oh, wow, that's actually forced Jade to pull back. He's found the barracks and he's going to have to go and deal with it. The Firebat's going to come out, but there is a Banshee on the way here for Ruff. And he actually has a Marauder. If he builds another one, then he should be okay. He may be able to hold here. He is actually in the lead economically, if you can believe that. He's still calling down SCVs, so yeah, he's actually completely oversaturated here. This is way more SCVs than you need in Starbow because of minimal bounce, so he really needs to consider an expand or at least using overcharge, but again, he doesn't know what he's doing, so that's to be expected. Scout is on the way out here from Jade, and Ruff has succeeded in keeping the Dragoons back for a while, but a Banshee is not going to kill Dragoons, and 1 Marauder is not going to be enough to kill Dragoons either. He's only just restarted his Stim, he's not built another Marauder. So, I expect Jade will probably kill him in this position. I don't know, though. Oh, the Scout! The Scout! It's right there! There's the Cloak. Cloak, by the way, works a bit differently in Starbow. It only works for a limited amount of time. But he is going to be able to get a couple of kills here. Cloak is about to kick in again. There's a Sentinel on the way here. And that single Marauder is not going to do the job here. They're going to walk straight up the ramp, Ruff really should have walled off there if he wanted to make that work. That Banshee is most likely going to die here as well. Another Cloak has gone in, so he can start to work on those Dragoons. But Stim will never finish. That is never going to happen. Ruff has pulled his SCVs off the line here once again. The single SCV is now fighting the Cybercore in a display of complete and total ineptitude. A Marauder is on the way out to try and deal with these Dragoons, and it looks like he's going to take down one at least, but a lot of SCVs are going to die here. The Scout is out as well, and it's going to be working on things, and I think this is going to be game over here for Ruff, who has discovered the phenomenal pro-gamer tactic. The phenomenal pro-gamer fact and tactic that if you do not practice your map, you are probably going to lose. That was a 6th round, though. I've got to give him credit for that. But unfortunately, there are no SCVs left on the map, so that's the thing. And that's kind of unfortunate, because we don't get to see the Sentinel in action, which is now going across the map in its little flying sluggy form. Are we... Yes, okay, here we go. I cannot wait for Ruff's analysis of Starbow. It's going to be phenomenal. I have no doubt that this is going to be an amazing thing to read. Oh, well, I'm slightly disappointed. Well, that demonstrates what happens when you don't practice your map. Never mind. I guess he wasn't trolling. He did not practice Starbow. And as a result, he drops a map for his team. So there you go. Jade with a strong opening performance from myInsanity Academy. Absolutely knew what he was doing. Ruff didn't and got wrecked. Although I've got to give him credit. That in-base proxy fire bat was kind of funny. And it was actually extremely effective. But unfortunately, he didn't quite know what to do after that. So never mind. But there's a possibility. That's a kind of cool move for Python, especially if you spawn in those positions. So I think that's something that people should consider doing. Alright, well, we're back to the regular StarCraft 2 after this, and myInsanity is currently up 2-1 in this best of 7. The next map is going to be Cairo. It's going to be a PvP, some high-end PvP between Stardust and Puck. This is going to be fantastic. Do not go anywhere. That's a damn good track, isn't it? Frank Lepaki's No Mercy from the original Command & Conquer. OG, what can I say? Welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. This is the current lineup and the current scoreline. We have Arium picking up the map here for IvD Gaming, but it's currently 2-1 in favor of myInsanity. However, Puck and Stardust are ready to go here on Neo Keru. That's going to be a good one. Both of these guys are fantastic PvPers, and they are both top level. Puck is easily one of the best Protoss in the US, and of course Stardust is a DreamHack champion and one of the strongest players for myInsanity, as well as being an incredible Protoss in Europe in his own right. So I expect a pretty good map out of this, which is more than I can say for the previous comedic, if kind of ridiculous Starbow match. You know, one of these days we'll actually have a proper Starbow match. I'm just not entirely sure when. Probably Incredible Miracle versus Startail, I would imagine. That's actually going to be kind of good, I hope. Squirtle's going to be playing Starbow. Squirtle! Fucking Squirtle is playing Starbow! I mean, how cool is that? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hyper about that, and I think that it's entirely justifiable. Let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. IvD Puck is bringing it here as the Protoss in the red trunks to the northeast of Neo Keru versus his opponent to the southwest position in the pink trunks, playing Protoss myInsanity Stardust. Well, myInsanity are a man short today. They're not able to deploy their Terran in the form of Jack G, so he is, I believe, now back from Seed Story Cup, but he is most likely tired and was unable to prepare, of course, because he was an invite to Seed Story, so he had to prepare for that. He did not win, sadly. But he got pretty far. He got into the playoffs, so he had a really, really good run, and then got smacked by Hyun, unfortunately. I think it was 3-0, actually, which, considering Jack G's current form, Hyun 3-0ing him is really surprising. Hyun is very good, don't get me wrong, but if you asked me how good is Hyun compared to, like, 12 months ago, I'd say he's not as good as he was. But he's been putting on some fantastic showings. Eventually lost to Snoot, but Snoot kind of wins those events at Takes House for some reason. I don't know what it is. Must be something in the water. Whatever the case, we got both Puck and Stardust starting off in the same way here with Gateway on 13 supply in the base. What exactly these guys pull out against each other, it could be absolutely anything. Stardust is known for cheesing. He's known for one-base play, but Puck can also do that. Although Puck has actually played some really long PvPs in the past that have been very impressive. We're going to see double gas coming out here for Stardust on 15. And double gas here for Puck slightly later. The question is how many probes we see in the gas. That will determine exactly what's going to be coming out. We may, of course, continue to see some Blink Stalker play. If you can get Blink Stalkers and your opponent doesn't, and you don't take damage, then you're in a good spot, because you can do pretty much whatever you want from that position. You've got so much flexibility, you can do so many cool things. But if both go for Blink Stalkers, then it becomes a very interesting one, because it comes down to control. And PvP has a more, let's just say, more openings and diversity than it used to. It used to be a pretty bad matchup. It would be 4-gate or bust for the most part, and then a couple of weird counter-meta builds, but now you can do quite a lot thanks to the addition of the Mothership Core, so any kind of early pressure, like 4 gates, get shut down pretty well by the presence of Mothership Core and Photon Overcharge. 3 in the gas, and a second gateway going up while Puck scouts, which is intriguing, to say the least. In the meantime, Puck is going to finish up his Cyber Core. He's also mining from 3, so either this is a fake, which would be a really weird thing for Stardust to do here, or he's just building up so that he can start to grab a few Stalkers here and there. Okay. Well, let's see where this goes then, shall we? Puck's going to have a look around and see what he can see. And it looks like we're going to see a second gateway finish here for Stardust, so I would imagine he's going to produce quite a lot of Stalkers. There's a pylon going up at the back, which could be indicative that he wants to put tech around this area here, which is hard to scout. So let's see if Stardust does that. He's definitely got the gas for it. But even if he puts the Twilight down, I mean, that's quite late, and Blink's going to take a while to come out, but I feel like Stardust almost thinks that his opponent's going to get really aggressive on one base, which is actually kind of not like Puck at all. We're going to see a Stargate here from Puck instead. Not too bad. Intriguing. Well, both of these guys not particularly aggressive. We're going to see 2 more Stargates coming down from Puck as well. Sorry, Stargates, what I'm talking about, gateways. What is Stardust's build? There's the Twilight Council. He's had a lot of gas. What is he saving this gas up for, I have to wonder. He's not rushing his Warp Gate out. Obviously, if he's going to wait for Blink, it's going to take a while to come up. We see a Proxy Pylon down here for Puck. But Stardust currently has solid map control. The thing is, he's got a Pylon building probe with him. He's going to go up the ramp and attack here. I mean, the Puck should be able to throw this back. He's got 2 Stalkers on the high ground plus the Mothership Core. Puck's immediately going to pull back here. And wow, Stardust, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stardust, I don't know what he was thinking with that probe. That's really weird. Well, I guess he's not going to be doing anything with that. So, an interesting move here from Stardust. He's actually going Blink and Robo. He saved up so much gas, he was able to get tech on both, but Puck's going to attempt to warp in an attack. Stardust is scouting for proxy pylons, trying to find out what's going on, and we have 1 Oracle out already. This Oracle is definitely going to hit before Blink. As to whether or not it will be able to evade the Stalkers, that's a different matter entirely. Stardust does not see the proxy pylon. Puck in a good position here with that. Oh, now he's going to find it. Never mind. Well, he's got to be careful with his Oracle. Puck's going to have to divert that. At least he knows where Stardust's Stalkers are, so he actually may be able to hit the mineral line here pretty hard. The Stalker count's getting very high for Stardust, and he's looking for an attack here. But Stardust seems to sense that there's the possibility of an Oracle. He didn't scout the Stargate, but... oh, no, he's out of position. Completely out of position, and Puck is able to grab 4 probe kills. Could be worse. There is a second Oracle coming out, though, so this is the problem that he currently has, right? There's 2 Oracles on the field. That means that any attempt to go with a big Blink attack off 3, maybe 4 gateways on one base for Stardust is not going to work so well, because there are 2 Oracles on the map. If he attempts to commit at all to attacking Puck, then this mineral line is dead. It's gone. There's no forge for cannons or anything like that. It's just going to melt to 2 Oracles. So Stardust has 2 choices. He can sit around and try and expand himself, which is what he's doing, or he could try and do kind of a bit of a poke, a bit of pressure, and leave a couple of Blink Stalkers at home. And Puck is able to get in there just before Blink finishes, but that's a nice little flank, and Stardust is looking to try and take the second Oracle out. He doesn't get it. Total probe kills so far 10 in trade for an Oracle. Not bad, you know, especially in a mirror matchup. That's not too bad here for Puck at all, and Puck is able to expand, and once this is up, and no amount of Blink Stalkers is really going to do the job. We're going to have to see tech coming out of Stardust. I don't think he has the count, and this Blink has actually ended up being completely useless for him. He hasn't been able to do anything with it. He hasn't been able to hit a timing. Forge is coming down here, and Stardust is just preparing for a longer game, I think. I'd expect to see an Immortal or 2 coming out from Stardust, and, I mean, he may try and push at that point, but do you really want to push against Photon Overcharge? No, you don't. You absolutely don't. So Puck's in a great spot. Puck is, in my opinion, ahead at this point. His Robo is a little later, but what benefit does the Robo really give to Stardust? If Stardust does try and go up to Colossus very quickly, then it could be useful, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does that. But if he doesn't, then really it's no use. So Stardust is going to move in with a observer instead of moving his mothership core across the map. In fact, he doesn't even have one. He's playing some really old-school PvP here without a mothership core, which is really odd to see. He's using 2 observers. He's using one to keep track of this oracle here, and a couple of stalkers there to make sure it can't really get in. But this oracle is keeping Stardust pinned back, and there was another observer over the side of the map, which could have been used. Could have been used to go for the 4-stalker hit squad right into this mineral line, start picking off probes. 4 stalkers being the magic number you need to one-shot a probe. But Puck's in a solid position. I don't see any problems here for Puck at all. And we're seeing no quick Colossus tech either from Stardust. So pretty much every advantage that Stardust has is gone, right? Absolutely gone. He does have a couple of observers, which I suppose is kind of neat. And I think he might end up losing his observer here. It depends where he decides to put it. There's a stalker being warped in, and that's a lovely pickoff. Fantastic pickoff from Puck. Puck playing some great PvP up to this point. And both going for Colossus. And you know what? In a Colossus war, I favor Puck. Puck as a 2 to 3 base sort of mid to late game Protoss in PvP. His Colossus push is fantastic. His micro and control and engagements are really good. Stardust is really good too, but you've got to bear in mind that everything Stardust has done up to this point has got him nothing. The only victory he's had is he has killed an oracle. And that has put Puck ahead. He's still 3 probes ahead, which is not a big deal. It's not huge, but every little thing matters here, and that even lets Puck start his, well, yeah, I mean, his Robo Bay went up earlier. There's loads of gas here for Stardust, though, so he can start a Colossus pretty much immediately and Thermal Lance, which is nice. The Stardust is building a few sentries here as well, so he realizes, you know what, I'm sitting on so much gas, I've done nothing with it. The Observer still hasn't died. The Oracle, in fact, still has not died. It hasn't picked off anything else either, but it's keeping these Stalkers pinned down, so even if it isn't attacking something, it still has a use. Good solid PvP from both of these guys so far. Wow, greedy Puck is going to go for a third right at the front here. Lovely use of Envision there. Actually, it's Revelation, never mind. I keep getting the two mixed up. Revelation being used on these units, so really good vision for Puck. It's not ideal because he didn't get all the army, but he did get 3 Stalkers and the Nexus, so he can kind of see what's going on there. He can see where the Chrono Boost is being used, which is very important. If a lot of Chrono Boost was being burned on gateways, then that's saying, hey, I'm gearing up for an attack. So that can be useful, and Stardust is gearing up for an attack. He's adding on 4 more gateways. He wants to be the aggressor here, and I'm really kind of surprised that Puck is trying to take a 3rd base here. He feels he's ahead, and he is, but I'm not sure if he's that ahead. I guess we'll find out. Well, both of these guys do have Blink ready to go. Puck is going to get aggressive. Going to push a little bit. Extended Thermal Lance is going to be ready, but... Oh, it's... Whoa, Puck. I never noticed. He's going double Colossus production behind this. That would explain the lack of gateways. He's going for a smaller gateway force, but double Colossus, which can absolutely do the job. There's been quite a few Zealots put in by Stardust here, which is going to be useless. They're going to get roasted against double Colossus production. I mean, there's going to be 3 Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance is done. +1 is done as well, although +2 is on the way here for Stardust. And the 3rd is operational for Puck. I mean, this has got to trigger Stardust to go. Surely, Stardust is so far behind here. The only thing Stardust has got going for him is higher production and this potential +2 here. Lovely little move, once again, by Puck. Great Oracle control, I've got to say. Really impressed by him. And only 6 hit points left on that Oracle. We do have Templar being added in, but there's no Storm, so these are for Archons. Archons don't really do much against Colossus, unfortunately. They get kited very easily. So if you look at the Colossi count right now, by the time this attack hits, it's going to be 5 versus 3, which is going to make things really difficult for Stardust. Does he have an edge anywhere? Well, he has a larger army, but not by much, and most of it's in Zealots. Like, that's the core of his army, Zealots, which against 5 Colossi is just useless. +2 is going to be done, though, so with good positioning, he may be able to fight it. The thing is, there's going to be a Photon Overcharge here as well. In fact, there's going to be a Photon Overcharge and a Time Warp available. I do not fancy Stardust's chances in this fight, but it's entirely possible that he gets a great engagement. You know, it looks close, but I'm just really concerned. I mean, 5 Colossi, that's a huge amount, and Stardust has so many Zealots here. Can Stardust make this work? That's the question. In the meantime, there's a Zealot run by, which is a nice little move. There's only 1 cannon there, so this is going to do some damage. And Stardust is out on the map. He does have his Mothership Core. He's got enough for a recall. If he's forced to recall here, it would be disastrous. 3 Zealots, that would be ridiculous. But it's okay, a Warpin's come in, so that's going to get shut down before it does any real damage. And now these guys are posturing for position. Let's see who gets what. Puck has no Storm, but he does have... He feedbacks the Mothership Core. Very nice little move there. The Colossus are looking really good for Puck, honestly, at this point. He should be able to win this fight. There's too many Colossi, I feel, for Stardust to break through this. The Blink Stalkers do come in, which is kind of nice, but Puck's Colossus, as I mentioned earlier in the game, are doing okay. Can he kill the Immortals, though? Reinforcements coming in from the back. Puck forced into a retreat here. He still has 5 Colossi up and on the field, though. This Immortal trying to catch it, catches another one here, and Stardust, with these Immortals, is starting to push his way through. One Immortal is going down here, and Stardust with the engagement. Those 2 Immortals did absolutely fantastic work there. Really surprising to see Puck end up losing that. And a little run-by, just a nice little run-by, is going to do economic damage to Puck. And that puts Stardust right back in this game. Really good moves. That said, he wants to be careful. He has no recall available. And Puck is going to move in. If he's able to destroy these Colossus, that could be disastrous. But I don't see that happening. He should be able to take out some Zealots, absolutely. There's no recall available here. And this Militia Corps is, I think, honestly, he's going to let it die, because it doesn't really have the energy to be useful. There's a lot of Archons here. There's only 1 Immortal left, but Stardust is definitely back in this in a big way. He warps in a large army. Puck needs to continue with Colossus production, and he's currently not actually building anything. He's pulling a lot of probes to go and mine at his 3rd base here. This economic advantage is still kind of a thing for Puck, but right now he's not mining with most of his probes. So if you look at the income, it's actually not crazy. Stardust has the lead. He is establishing a 3rd base as well. So Stardust, with that 1 engagement, puts himself right back in this game. Very nicely played. Puck was doing okay, but I think he just wasn't able to get his hands on the Immortals there, and I have a feeling he wasted a good few Colossus shots after those Blinkstalkers came in. Puck, again, looking for a good engagement. This is not a bad engagement angle here for him. He's got his Colossus right at the back. They're going to devastate the Zealot count here, and this is looking pretty good. The Archons are going to break through there, and they smash the Immortal and make their way after these Colossus. More Zealots coming in here, but Puck's going to be able to push this back. Nice moves, and Stardust loses a lot there. This is a pretty cool PvP up to this point between these two. Very, very even. Currently, I would put Puck slightly ahead. Only slightly. Lovely control here by Puck, though. Really, really nice. Oh, a flank coming in from Stardust, though. Oh, my God. Stardust, you god. Wow. With that flank from the back, kills all 4 Colossus. Absolutely lovely warping. And now, well, this base is under a lot of threat. Lots of Zealots coming in. There is only 1 Colossus. 2nd Colossus joining the fight, though. And this is getting a little bit desperate here for Puck, as Stardust, with that genius flank, completely turns this around. A couple of Archons fighting here, but they're not going to be able to fight without support. And Puck is in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to abandon his 3rd now. Beautiful move by Stardust. Absolutely gorgeous. Just fantastic. Puck now completely oversaturated. Mined out in his main. Huge amounts of trouble here. This Oracle is just sitting there saying, please let me do something, but Stardust, with the move out of nowhere there, completely catching his opponent off guard. And Puck's micro was great up until that point. Those 4 Colossus were pretty low in health. Suddenly the Archons and the Chargelets come in, and bam, 4 Colossus evaporate. Double Colossus production has resumed for Puck. So he's going to be able to get 2 out here, but this is looking pretty ugly. The 3rd is now established here for Stardust. He is now even, well, I mean, he is behind slightly supply-wise, but he has his 3rd up, and Puck lost his. And Puck's only really mining off 1 base. This is pretty much almost done. There's very little minerals left here. And Stardust is looking fine here. His main is mined out, so he has to mine here. The question is, can Puck reestablish his 3rd base, and is it possible for Puck to harass this 3rd? Because if he's able to do economic damage to this 3rd base, then he could get back into this. Puck's going to start to clean up some of the pylons on the map here. So that's really nice for him. And we're also going to see Puck put down a Dark Shrine, which I like a lot. We'll see if Stardust decides to put down a cannon here. He has actually dedicated an Observer to defense, knowing that there is the possibility of damage done here. So Puck, for the moment, is behind economically. You can see there's a slight lead for Stardust, because Stardust is now mining from 2 fully functional bases, whereas Puck is only mining from 1, and this is starting to get a little bit low here. These minerals have less than 400 on each, so that can be a bit ugly. Colossus count advantage is actually in favor of Stardust, because, frankly, Puck has not had the resources necessary to make this work for him. And Stardust is going to start to gear up for another attack. He knows he has the economic lead. He can start to build a larger army, and he can start to threaten this 3rd base again, because he knows this is the linchpin. This is the really important component of Puck's economy. If this dies, then Puck is basically dead in the water, because this area is going to be mined out in the next few minutes. Alright, well, the question is, can the DTs do anything? Lovely pick off there. Bit of an accident, I think, actually, from Puck, allowing that Observer to die. I wonder, Yeah, he's put a cannon there. One cannon is not going to be enough if there's a big DT warp in. The problem is, where's he going to warp them in from? There's no... Oh, where's the lower pylon? There isn't one. I thought this was a pylon. No. There is no lower pylon on this map for Puck at all. So that's a bit of a problem. He is dedicated to current defense. He's looking to get some Archons in here. If he takes a good fight on the third, he can get back into this, but this is going to be pretty ugly. That's the army supply. It's heavily in favor of Stardust. There is a photon overcharge, but there are plenty of Archons and Zealots to tank it. So let's see what kind of angle he can get here. A lovely angle on the Zealots initially for Puck. Very, very nice. The problem is it's coming in from two sides. Good focus fire coming in from Stardust, taking out the Archons at the front here. Colossus now being moved back, and currently it's still in favor of Stardust as he tries to ravage the mineral line. Puck is able to warp in some Dark Templar to do some damage here. Great Colossus control once again here from Puck, but the third base is going to die once again, and Stardust is going to say, you know what, I can pull back from this position. I don't need to engage anymore. I don't need to fight anymore. I've even got a time warp if I needed to slow you down. Uh-oh, this could be really terrible. Oh no! That's a disaster for Puck. Absolute disaster. The time warp means that these Colossus can't kite anymore, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin. GG. Stardust with an incredible performance there for myInsanity. That flank was absolutely awesome. Lovely stuff. What can I say? Really impressive there from myInsanity. They're now one game away from taking the series 4-1. Very, very nice. Ooh. Stardust with the performance. And now, well, we're going to have to see the ace player really come out for IvD. Thankfully, that's what they scheduled for the next map. They put out Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is going to be going up against Dana, who is a lesser-known player. So this is going to be a little bit of action coming out from both. Can Apocalypse put them back on the board? Because if they can get it to the 2v2, and then they can force the ace match. But it's match point, and Apocalypse is the man standing in the way. Will it be enough? We'll find out after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. Again, we apologize. Apparently a rogue ad went off again in the middle of that. This has nothing to do with me, and I have no idea why it's happening, but it's pissing me the hell off. And we've got engineers trying to figure out why the ad system is going ballistic today, so my apologies if you saw that. That should not be happening. In the meantime, however, we currently have myInsanity up 3-1 against IvD. Puck put on a really good performance, but Stardust, well, he cranked it up to 11 and was able to pull it back. Really impressive considering he was behind for like 20 minutes in that game. So that was really nicely played by Stardust. Absolutely phenomenal. And now, well, we have Apocalypse, who is a very, very accomplished player who is going to be going up against Dana, who isn't. No, it's just fair to say, you know. It's not an unreasonable thing to say whatsoever. Dana is on the main roster. He's part of the A-team, but he hasn't really got all that many accomplishments under his belt. He's a Polish Zerg. His first name is Radoslaw. Radoslaw Danowski, I believe. He has had a couple of decent results in online cups, such as Go4 SC2 and Zotac. And he's taken out some pretty impressive Terran players. But Apocalypse is definitely the favorite going into this. I'll check if these guys are ready to go. It's going to be on Fallen Dreams. This is the first time, I believe, we've seen Fallen Dreams used for a Terran versus Zerg. I'm hoping this will be very entertaining indeed. Just checking if Dana is ready to go. Hopefully. Should be fairly soon. Currently, as I said, it is 3-1, which is not a good position for IvD to be in at all. No, no, no. Absolutely not. They've taken a bit of a hammering today, unfortunately for them. Not least at the hands of Jade, who was able to use his superpower of actually knowing what Starbow was in order to win his match. It's not really the match you want to drop, is it? No, you don't want to drop that map. Not against a team like myInsanity, even if they're not sending out their full A-team. Okay, here we go, folks. Fallen Dreams. It will either be a 4-1 victory here for myInsanity, or we will see IvD begin their comeback. Which will it be? I guess we will find out very shortly. Thank you for tuning in, and again, my apologies for the issues with the ads. Certainly not something that should be happening. I'm personally rather disappointed, to say the least, when I see things like that. I do try and put on a good show, and when something like that happens, it's damn infuriating. That I wouldn't accept that in my broadcast. You shouldn't either. It's entirely understandable that you would be angry. So hopefully that won't happen again. But here we are. Fallen Dreams is going to be the potential final venue here for this clan war. Let's see if the snake, aka Apocalypse, can hold the line. To the northeast position, playing Terran in the blue trunks for IvD. It is Apocalypse. Versus his opponent to the southwest position. In the pink trunks, playing Zerg for myInsanity, it is Dana. Alright, if you have never seen this map before, check this out. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? Retracting bridges every 45 seconds. Anything that is on the bridge when it retracts will die. It will plummet into the river of green acid below and melt, regardless of what it happens to be. So you gotta be just a smidge bit careful. That's one of the main features for Fallen Dreams. These bridges give a very clear access to the center and the Zelnaga Watchtower, which kind of covers this area. It doesn't cover all the bridges, but it covers this area. And it's the most direct rush route, and there are 3 sets of them. There is another rush route. If we go around here, I'll take you on a little tour, all the way around the side, you will notice you can go this way, but it takes a lot longer. Zerg kind of like this map because they can usually avoid the bridges by going around the side with speedlings. I don't think I've ever seen a Terran play on this map, actually, so I don't really know what to expect here from Apocalypse. But he is going to go for a full wall-off, and you'll notice that there are some other interesting features about Fallen Dreams. The fact that this area right here looks like a ramp. What you've got is a really weird setup. You have your main here, then you've got a ramp up to this expansion, yeah, which is inaccessible outside of this ramp here and these rocks. So you've almost got a pocket expansion, but it's almost like the expansion on Terminus, if you recall Terminus, which was an old Wings of Liberty map. It's kind of like that. So it's quite safe, but you don't have a ramp on your natural, so you've got to be a little bit careful. And going for a wall off here, I like it. It's kind of a cool-ass ravine, one of the old beta map styles. And we've got an expansion coming out of Dana here as well, and the pool following that. So we're in for a fairly long one by the looks of it. Reaper on the way out. It's not the best Reaper map, honestly, but it's not terrible either. There are definitely things you can do. The main problem is, what you'd like is the ability to use the Reaper to bypass this area. You can't do that because there's no actual height or cliffs here. These are just void spaces. I don't think you can even get around here. I'm pretty sure this area is designed to be anti-Reaper. You can't attack from the back. So this is not the kind of thing that would be too useful, but it still does give you a very, very fast unit. So there's nothing too terrible about that. You can certainly get your scout off before the speedlings come out, even if you can't do cliff jumping with it. Alright, Apocalypse. You are the one man standing between almost complete total defeat for IvD or getting the honor back. Let's see if he can do it. Apocalypse is a really strong contender. He's a very, very good Korean Terran. And he's been playing the NA scene for a very long time, actually. He's pretty much part of the NA scene. Lovely little maneuver coming out here from Apocalypse. He is working on these 4 lanes, and he's going to be able to harass this area as well. Speed is on the way. It's not going to be done for another minute, really. So, plenty of time for Apocalypse to be really annoying. Queens are out, though, so that's okay. Second Reaper on the way in, and he may be able to attack from 2 angles here, which would be absolutely lovely. And in the meantime, he's got security here. It looks like he's going to go straight into Hellions, which, again, I like that on this map. He's going to take a 3rd CC behind it. Look at how greedy that is. And he can afford to be. I mean, what's the Zerg going to do? There's a potential maybe for a Baneling or Roach bust, but outside of that, I don't think so. Reapers are now moving in and doing damage. Great control, once again, coming out here from Apocalypse, who takes out a drone, another lane. Okay, it's good scouting information. Feeling pretty safe. He's going to now jump down here, get out of the way, regen, and go straight for the main base, which does have a Queen defending, but the Queens don't really do enough damage to stop the Reapers completely, so that's worth bearing in mind. So lots and lots and lots of greed coming out here from Apocalypse, and I think that that's the right call currently. We're not seeing a 3rd base coming down right here from the Zerg player, though. No Baneling nest either. He has gas, but he's only gas on 1, so he's going Spine Crawl at the front. It looks like he's just going to tick over to Lair and then see where he goes from there, but I like Apocalypse's position from here. Question, I suppose, is where is Apocalypse going to expand? He could expand here. It's quite close to the Zerg, and it's pretty vulnerable to run-bys. And that Reaper's dead. He wanted to try and get across the bridge, and he was prevented from doing so, so that's dead. The other Reaper got out, but, you know, what do you do in this position? Where do you expand? If you expand here, again, you are vulnerable to Ling Run buys. You've got to be very careful with your defense. You might even want to take a planetary there, which would be absurd. I mean, the current meta is always to go 3 orbital, but With the current setup, I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. We are going to see Banshee coming out, and he won't expand just yet because he's looking to also saturate his natural here, which he's been unable to do up to this point. We want to see a Banshee. I like that move. I think Banshee is a great move for this map, mainly because of this cliff right here. You can attack from the rear, and you can escape. You've got a huge amount of space to escape when you're attacking the natural, so that's pretty good. Good amount of space here, too, so a good Banshee map for the Terran player. Scan goes down. Hellions on the way up as well. Dana's got a few lings, but the lings can't really do much. They can start to work at the rocks, but they are 3 armor rocks, so it will take a while to get through there. Although, with this amount of lings, I think Dana might actually try and start to attack those rocks. The other possibility is he waits for Apocalypse to move out, and then he tries a run-by, but this wall-off is most likely going to end up being intact. Hellions are available. There's a Viking coming out here as well. Single Banshee on the way. Whoa! Double armory! What on earth? We're going to see a mech transition out here. Very cool. I mean, it makes sense considering he's only been on a single barracks. He's researched no upgrades for his infantry whatsoever. Now the Banshee is on the map, and it's going to do some damage, but we are seeing mech out of Apocalypse. Will this Banshee do anything? Well, there's already a Spore Crawler and a Queen, so it'll do a little bit of damage if it's properly controlled, but not a huge amount. Now this Viking is going to take this out, but the Viking's going to see the double armory, so I would imagine Dana's kind of expecting mech from this position, because he's been sitting over those barracks and it's like, where's your stim? Where's everything else? So he's expecting mech, and 2 more factories are coming in behind this. Fairly late layer here from Dana, but he has taken a 3rd base. Reaper comes in and gets killed by Queens. Dana's actually on 5 Queens. That's quite a few. And Dana is continuing to power forward his economy. And so far, these Hellions haven't really done much, but look at them. There's 8. Oh, lovely ling run by Dana. I'm very surprised Apocalypse allowed that to happen. This is going to do a huge amount of damage. Right into the mineral line. As soon as those Hellions leave, in come the lings, and they're doing significant economic damage to Apocalypse. This mineral line is going to hell, but in the meantime, there's a lot of Hellions. Will there be enough Hellions? We're gonna have to see good angles here from Apocalypse. Oh, he's bringing in the Banshee as well. Lovely transfuse here from Dana. Absolutely lovely. The lings decimate the economy of Apocalypse. 25 kills now. Oh, that's brutal. And these Hellions got nothing done. Apocalypse is in a terrible position now. He's still on 3 orbitals. So, it's not like he's out, but that should have never happened. That was a mistake from Apocalypse. He left his wall open, and Dana, with the perfect timing, goes right in. Uh-oh. Almost went across the bridges. That would not have been a good time to do that. In the meantime, Ling Run-By comes in, and that's what I was saying about this 3rd base. Like, it's exposed. He's going to attempt to hit the wall again, and Apocalypse... Man, he actually left it open there. He could have got in, but that didn't happen. And now, of course, he's going to do yet more damage to the economy. The Hellions now moving in, which should be able to clean these lings up quite nicely. Not without a few more SCVs going down now. Dana's sitting on 70 drones. Dana is going Spire, basically playing Mutiling, Baneling. Absolutely fine style to play right now, and Apocalypse is way behind at this point. That said, Apocalypse does have a larger army. He's building tanks, and of course, he's going for a mech play. So, on 3 bases, if he can secure his 3rd base, he'll be back in it. But what I'm concerned about is the potential for a lot of damage coming in from these mutas when they eventually hit. It's a very late mutalist transition, but the amount of damage that has been done by the Zerg player has made it worth it. In come the Hellions, trying to equalize the economy. However, Dana preemptively pulls most of those drones out of the way. Dana is on fire today. I haven't seen much of Dana, but I'm pretty damn impressed. What can I say? Very, very cool play from Dana. Really, really solid Zerg play. Queen heavy. Absolutely doing the job. So far has managed to stop most of the harassment. 13 workers have been killed by Apocalypse, though. So it's not like Apocalypse hasn't done any damage. And he's starting to claw his way back in. And bear in mind, with 3 mules, you know, he might as well have 60 SCVs at this point. So he's not out of it yet. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But Dana's next wave is coming in. Upgrades-wise, Dana's looking pretty good. 1-1 plus the Carapace upgrade coming in. It's going to be very nice against the Thors. Very nice indeed. In come the Hellions. That's a lot of Blue Flame Hellions. I have a feeling Dana may have underestimated the amount of Hellions that are coming in, but the mutas are on the way, so I expect these Hellions will die, but that 3rd is going to go absolute bye-bye. Oh, wow. Decimation, and... Oh, he's found the other ones! He's found the other drones, and they are gone, and Apocalypse is moving right in. In the meantime, counterattack comes in, and Dana not committing to a defense against these Blue Flame Hellions. That might be a mistake. In fact, I'm almost convinced that's a mistake here from Dana. Dana's trying to counterattack with mutas, but that's not going to do the damage. Dana's going to lose all of his workers here. I'm really surprised he didn't use the mutas to defend against these Hellions. This is a disaster here for Dana. Splits coming in from the workers, and he's doing a good job of keeping as many of these alive as possible. Eventually, the Hellions do get cleaned up. The third base is taking losses. 42 workers killed here by Apocalypse, 36 killed by Dana. That was a bit weird. He does take the third for his trouble, though. He does kill the third. Hard to say kind of who's ahead here. Honestly, if you look at Snake's army, he doesn't actually have one. He's got Thor's building to try, and Hellbats as well, to try and deal with the Ling and Muto, but there is no army. There's no standing army for the Terran player. Alright, Thors are now out, so these Mutos aren't really going to do anything. Lings are camping the potential third base. Dana's in actually a great spot and has now been able to super drone. The Lings get in again! Apocalypse, what are you doing? Can he repair that Thor in time? No, it's going to die. Oh man, Apocalypse uncharacteristically sloppy today. And Dana capitalizing on every possible opportunity. Tank drop comes in, gets wiped out completely. Apocalypse, the ace for IvD, is getting torn to pieces here by a lesser-known Zerg player from myInsanity. And Dana, I gotta say, I call into question not pulling those Mutalisks back, but I think he had the right read. He said, alright, Apocalypse has committed all of his forces to attacking me. I'm going to take his third. I'm going to take drone losses, but it won't matter because I'm on 4 bases. I've got a macro hatch, and I can replenish my drone losses. And he's going to commit way too much to this attack, and then he's never going to be able to reestablish his third base. So I think Dana actually did make the right call, as much as I called that into question earlier. And that's why they're pro players, and that's why I'm just sitting here talking. And now this is a really bad position for APOC, because he does still have SCVs mining, but they're going to start to mine out pretty soon. We're seeing a lot of roaches come out as well. And the army for Apocalypse is not that big. We're seeing 60... It's actually like about the same army supply, but it's because Thors, of course, take huge amounts of army supply. They are 2/2 Thors, so they're pretty nasty. And backed up by Hellbats, it should be pretty good. But Dana coming in with the Mutalisk Harass as well is going to be able to cancel this command center. Oh, wow, he didn't even cancel it. Apocalypse. Apparently he didn't have his morning coffee. Really surprising. That's not the kind of performance you expect to see from Apocalypse, gotta say. Ooh, good Thor shots coming out here from APOC, though, and he's now going to try and re-establish his third base, and he's got a lot of firepower available to him as well. Hellbat drop comes in. Blue Flame Hellbat drop with +2 as well, so this is going to definitely do some damage. Dana with a little bit of miscontrol there, loses some more workers. But, I mean, he was on 80 drones, so he doesn't really mind too much. This is not huge losses. In order for this harassment to be effective, we're going to have to see 3 times as many workers killed before this is going to end up doing anything. Now Apocalypse is trying to re-establish. He is way behind. But he is also way behind on mech, with 6 Thors. 6. Mutalisks, useless. Roaches, useful, definitely. Lovely pickup again from Dana. Almost gets that. Oh, Dana! Ooh, that could have been a better Thor shot, man. If they hadn't hit the leading Mutalisk, if they hit in the middle of the pack, that could have been brutal. Now the Roach is moving across the map here for Dana, and he's looking for a big push. How many tanks are there? There's 2. They're not sieged yet. There's a few Hellbats, and there's a bunch of Thors. And, oh man, he's getting drawn out of position as well. So Dana is preparing a flank here. He is looking to hit the south side of this base. These tanks are not deployed as of yet. The sensor tower is not up yet, and in come the Roaches. Tanks not deployed, eliminated immediately. That's disastrous here again for the Terran player. We're going to have to see mass repair on these Thors, and even then I don't think that's going to be enough. I mean, this third base is forfeit yet again. A Hellbat drop comes in and roasts the 4th, which is a nice little play here from Apocalypse. Does he have enough Thors to beat that many Roaches? That's the question at this point. The 3rd is forfeit again, which is pretty bad news here for Apocalypse. And the Hive is on the way as well. But these Hellbats have done a lot of damage. They have done significant economic damage here. 70 workers killed up to this point. So, as weird as this sounds, Apocalypse is still in it. He's got SCVs backing up the Thors, and these are +2 Thors. I mean, they pop Roaches really fast. So, Apocalypse is hanging in there. He's still 40 supply behind, but he's hanging in there against his opponent. Dana is still on 4 bases, but has taken economic losses. And where does Dana go from here? Well, Dana's going to put Vipers in, which I absolutely love. Great decision, I think, to go for 5 Vipers and into Broodlords as well. What better way to deal with Thors than to pull them out and then just surround them and kill them? Dana still looking for harassment opportunities. This base is pretty much mined out now. The main is surprisingly less mined out than the natural. I suppose that happens. Oh, no. Caught out. Don't think... Yeah, it's probably going to kill a couple of Hellions before they hit, but outside of that, it's not going to be too disastrous. But it's this transition that's going to hit him hard. We've even got Locusts coming in, so upgrades for the Swarm Host. Dana has all the cards here. Yeah? It's not that Apocalypse hasn't done well at defending. He has, and he's about to hit +3 weapons, which is really powerful. But with Obducts and that many Roaches, this is going to be a very hard fight for Apocalypse. He's going to have really good tank positioning. Hellions now making their way in again. Hellbat drop comes in as well. Yet more damage inflicted. 83 drones killed. Apocalypse again looking to equalize the economy. In come the Hellbats again and do absolutely massive damage to the economy line. Really lovely moves here from Apocalypse, but this is the army. Apocalypse has got to hold against this. If he holds against this, he has a shot. He still has to deal with the Broodlord transition, which is going to be difficult but not impossible because he is on +3 weapons. And the tank setup is pretty good here. Tanks deployed. Down come the Viper. Blinding clouds. The Thor's trying to move into range here. This is a bit of a messy fight one way or the other, but I think there's probably enough Roaches to break through this. Tanks coming in from behind, trying to hold on. The Thor count is down to 3. Now down to 2 here as well. Roaches continue to crash in on this, but the tanks at the back are doing work. The Hellbats are holding. Apocalypse holds the line. Holy hell, Apocalypse. Wow, what a great tank setup from him, even with the Obducts. And all the Vipers died, with the exception of this one. And he's still harassing. But I'm really worried about Apocalypse's economy. This is his only mining base here. This one is pretty much mined out. He needs to expand, and it's going to be very hard to do. There's already an Overlord creeping up here. If he expands here, he's just opening himself up to Ling run-bys. There's creep extended here as well. And Dana is looking for Broodlord transition. Now, the thing about Apocalypse is that he does have +3 air and vehicle weapons, meaning that Vikings are going to be extremely good against, well, everything. I mean, even Corruptors with +3, they're going to be pretty good. But that's 12 Broodlords. I mean, look at the bank that Dana's been sitting on up to this point. Yeah, he killed an army. Great. Fantastic. He killed an army. Wow, that is a nice use of Blinding Cloud there. Lovely. Never seen that done before. Use it on your own mineral line to try and restrict the Hellion's ability to actually do any damage, but... And they're eventually going to get cleaned up, but again, 115 workers killed by Apocalypse. The economy of Dana is actually now falling to pieces, and Dana has used his bank as well on these Broodlords. So, here's the situation. With enough Vikings, and he's going to have to build more than just 6, if he can fight off this Broodlord force, then Apocalypse has got himself back into this game. If he can't, he's dead. It's really as simple as that. Apocalypse's harass has been incredible. 116 workers killed. He has done massive economic damage to the Zerg player, and he's held the 3rd. He's trying to take a 4th. If somehow he can manage that and kill the Broodlord force, he can actually win this game. So, Dana, I wouldn't say he's all in, but this is his big army. Dana delayed upgrades during all of this, yeah? Because he was playing Roach. He didn't want to upgrade +3 melee and +3... Oh, he's upgrading +3 melee and ranged at this point. So, Dana's behind. I mean, Broodlords are 0-0 right now, which means they're going to be very vulnerable to Vikings, and there's not enough Mutas to defend them. There are not that many Corruptors either. I have a feeling that Dana might lose this fight. It depends on how good this engagement is, though. How good is the Viking control here from Apocalypse? How good is the engagement? I guess we are about to find out. Can Apocalypse pull this back? He's been behind. He's still behind on supply. He's been behind on supply for the last 20 minutes. But he has a shot at this. But that's a lot of Broodlords. I mean, this base is going to take huge amounts of damage. The amount of Broodlords are fantastic. This Planetary Fortress will tank pretty well, but let's see how good this is. Alright, here we go. This is what happens. Currently, we have yet another Hellbat drop over to the side, doing yet more damage. The Planetary is holding strong right now. More Hellbats, 123 workers killed. This base, trying to hold. More Vikings coming up, more Thors, 11 Vikings, 3 Thors. Moving in for the flank in the engagement right here. This has got to be good. The Vikings are making their way in, but there's so many Corruptors, and the Fungals come down as well. Surely Apocalypse can't fight his way out of this. There's so many Broodlords, so many Fungals coming in. The tanks make their way through as well, and I think there's just too many Corruptors here. But, yeah, too many Corruptors. The Viking count is gone. We didn't see any Ravens, and the addition of Ravens may have made the difference there, but that base is now gone. And GG! myInsanity, after a very, very hard-fought game by Dana, is able to take the victory. That was really cool from Apocalypse. He did a really good job there, but... Now, I mean, if he'd gone in, I think maybe against the 5 Corruptors instead of 17, and killed the Broodlords, he may have had a shot. If he'd had some Ravens in his composition, he may have had a shot. But against 15 Corruptors and Mutas with only 11 Vikings, no way. Not gonna happen. And that's the GG. myInsanity takes it 4 games to 1 here. IvD getting something of a drubbing, with only Arium able to pick up the victory. And Apocalypse, after putting up a really good fight, unfortunately not able to do it. It was closer than it looked, though. Now, the scoreline says 4-1, but honestly, Puck fought really, really well against Stardust, and I was impressed by Apocalypse as well, playing from behind there. He played really well, but unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough. And there you go. NYE, 4 games to 1 against IvD. Impressive performance from myInsanity. Really, really cool. What can I say? NYE are actually now, by the way, the only team to have grabbed 2 victories up to this point. Alright. Well, let's tell you about what's coming up. We do have a few more Clan Wars this month, which, of course, I would absolutely love if you watched. That would be brilliant. I can tell you exactly what they are as well. We've got some really exciting stuff. Okay, so the next Clan War is going to be on the 13th. It is going to be at 8 p.m. EDT. Bear in mind, we're currently in Daylight Savings Time over in the US. That means it's an hour earlier for the Europeans, which is pretty good. We've got Team Liquid versus MVP. Team Liquid versus... Actually, no, I am completely wrong. Sorry. That's the deadline. No, the next one is actually Incredible Miracle versus Startail on the 14th at 5:30. That's 5:30 EDT. I was looking at something else entirely here. So Incredible Miracle versus Startail is going to be great. We've got Curious versus Ruin. We've got SKS, which is the returning player from the beta, actually, Trickster, versus Yonghua. We've got Panic and Pet versus Ungnim and Lucky. And then Hack versus Biol and Wrecking Ball. Panic versus Squirtle on Starbow Python, which is going to be hilarious, PvP. And Pet versus Trap. Kind of great. Really cool. That's going to be a very, very fun match. That's going to be on the 14th. And then the next one that we have is going to be Root versus Complexity on the 17th. That's also at 5 p.m. EDT. And then Team Liquid versus MVP on the 20th at 7 p.m. EDT. So great Clan Wars coming over the next couple of weeks, and of course we'll be trying to do 10 of these a month here on MLG TV. And if you missed anything, don't worry, we'll have reruns going all the time on mlg.tv/shoutcraft, and you will be able to pick up the spoiler-free VODs over on youtube.com/TotalBiscuit, usually about 24 hours after the Clan War ends. I'd like to thank every one of you for watching today. Hopefully you've had a good time, and big thanks to NYE and IvD. Big congratulations, of course, to myInsanity, who just pulled off a really strong win against IvD Gaming. My name has been TotalBiscuit, bringing you SHOUTCraft Clan Wars, and of course the next Clan War will begin on the 14th between Incredible Miracle and Startail, 2 powerhouse Korean teams. That is going to be a great Clan War indeed. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and I will see you next time.